welcome back to my podcast. I'm your host, Vivian, and this is my podcast, The Lonely Fake Club, where the title really doesn't make sense, so neither does this podcast. And welcome back to another episode. If you're noticing that I'm holding a back scratcher that has a microphone attached to it, don't. I'm trying something new. I've always wanted to do a podcast like this where I have the microphone like near me, kind of ish. Because before I used to have the I guess you could say like a Yeti mic kind of situation. But this is kind of like the vibe I've always wanted to go for and kind of like have my hands be busy. And I feel like, one day I'll be able to upgrade into like the better I guess like situation, but for now this works. So today I do want to like just say really fast, the world is really scary right now. I'll just be completely honest. I wake up every day to breaking news, and it's always just something that just scares the absolute bejesus out of me and just makes me genuinely concerned for the state of the world and our government. But I just want to preface this by saying that it is okay to be scared. It is okay to be cautious, to be wary, and to want to continue to educate yourself and be fully aware of everything that's going on within our government and within our country that we reside in right now. But also to continue to take care of yourself and to know when to put down the phone and give yourself a break. And if anything, I hope that this podcast can be a helpful way for you to get that break. Because I know it is for me. If you saw my door open, it's my cat trying to come in. He's so bad. But at the end of the day, life is scary. It'll continue to get scary. But I think all you really can do is to continue to keep moving forward and not forget that the bad guys will always be stopped. Who knows how long it's going to take, but they will be stopped. They will. Trust and believe they will be stopped. But I wanted to start this podcast just saying that, just a reminder of like, please use this time that you're watching this video to just fully immerse yourself in forgetting and remembering that there's still good in the world no matter how dark it might feel right now. With that being said, I want to talk about not a dark time in my life. I think everybody had a different high school experience than others, because obviously some people felt like they had such a great high school experience and some people felt like they didn't have that awesome great high school experience. I would say I had somewhere in the middle. I did waste a good chunk of my high school years on a boy, which I fully and wholeheartedly regret. I wish I never dated in high school. I wish I never did any of that. I wish I just focused on my friends and on my education and really just did not worry about a stupid little boy who would mean absolutely nothing to me by this point in my life. But as many of you know, I was unfortunately a theater kid. Yeah, I know. Is that shocking to some of you, or is that like kind of read? Don't tell me, because I cannot. I won't be able to handle it if you fully assume that I was a theater kid. But I was in my high school theater program from my freshman year to senior year. I did all 4 years. I did 1 year in middle school. But I wasn't like as involved in middle school, unfortunately. The middle school program wasn't like ginormous, I guess you could say. And when I finally did it in high school, there obviously came with a lot of drama, because duh, we're drama kids. And I think something that's always really funny to me that I really think about all the time when I'm thinking about high school theater is like, Oh my gosh, that felt like end all be all. It felt like everything was, my career was ruined no matter what the drama was. But it's like your theater career really doesn't start until you step into a community college or university program and really start building off of from there, because they don't look at high school theater. You could literally have played the lead in every single play or musical that you were in high school, and you still could just end up not doing theater the rest of your life. Like, it's just like, if you really are motivated to do it, you're gonna keep doing it, which I obviously did. I got my freaking degree in it, unfortunately. Definitely should have taken my friend's advice and gotten a minor, but that's okay. Life's what you make it. So let's make it right. I don't know if that's truly I just saw a wasp out the window. It is March 11th. Also my little sister's birthday. Happy birthday, girl. Um, so I wanted to talk about like one really big thing that happened to me, or me and my friend, that happened to my best friend and I in high school, that if I were to talk to her about it right now, we could continue to keep beating that dead horse over and over and over again. We will probably be 56 years old and still talk about this and still rip it apart to this day. Because it is actually so dramatic, and once you hear it, you're probably going to be like, it what? That's what happened? Yes, girl, that's what happened. Okay, so to make a long story short, not really, this is a podcast, I'm gonna make this story as long as possible. So I am costume head at this point, and she is makeup head, so we work together. And we're doing a show called Thoroughly Modern Millie, and it is a show that has a really fast, quick change at the very beginning, at like pretty much top of show. Like, a super, super fast, quick change. And that is just something that we really struggled with. Because beforehand, when we did quick change, we were able to like doom, 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 doom it out. But this one was like in the middle of a song, she has to completely change like top to bottom. And that was just something like we had really struggled with in the rehearsal process. And then when we figured it out, unfortunately, our lead actress, who was also a friend of mine, ended up having to be replaced because a whole other thing. And so the senior, who was her understudy, ended up having to go on for her, I think like 2 weeks before we opened. And so we had to like completely rearrange everything. I had to completely redo some of her costumes. It was like this whole ordeal. But we get to, I think, our second night or something like that. And we had just started, not just started, or I feel like this was one of the first times we really were like about doing. So in Texas, I don't know if this is for like literally any other state, but in Texas we have high school, well, obviously, duh, but in Texas we have our own version of like the High School Musical Theater Awards. They call it Broadway Dallas now because I guess the name was too long before, because it was called High School Musical Theater Awards, but now it's called Broadway Dallas, which I kind of like. But when we were there, or when we were doing this performance, this was the performance that one of the judges from the Broadway Dallas people were coming to our school to like kind of judge us and whatever. And looking back on it now, I really don't think there was any other way. Well, I don't think we were ever going to be nominated for like anything. We were a little bit on, I think at that point we were a 4A or a 5A school, I could not tell you. We were in a pretty big school district, but a lot of other school districts had a lot more money than we did. And so it was kind of just like one of those things, and like we didn't charge like fees to be in the shows. Everybody had to be free. It was a really good program, don't get me wrong. I loved my high school theater program. But this night everybody was like really, really anxious and really, really like just like, it's high school kids and they're being judged. Everybody's nervous. So we get to that rehearsal that night, and my friend and I, my best friend, it was Loretta, And we're just like really nervous. We're like, whatever, we got this. We've done it before. We got this. We get to that opening, and what ends up happening is that somehow so we have the actress putting on the wig herself, and Loretta's kind of just like putting the pins in for her. I'm fully changing this girl, getting her out of her dress, getting her into her new dress. And what ends up happening is that she ends up putting on the wig wrong. And she's sitting back there and she's freaking out. She's freaking out. Oh my gosh, the wig is wrong. This is not my wig. This is not my wig. She keeps saying that over and over and over again. Not my wig, not my wig, not my wig. And she's already way past her entrance. Like it's not, she has missed her entrance at this point. So she ends up putting on the wig all kinds of wonky, dumb and stupid. Sorry, I'm like getting like hyped up. Not hyped up, but I'm like getting angry all over again. Even though this was like 7+ years ago. She ends up going on stage with the wig on wrong. All funky. She's doing her thing, whatever. Couple scenes go by. We essentially get yelled at by our director, who's like, what is going on with this wig? Loretta's freaking out. I'm trying to do other like quick changes and doing other stuff because I'm costume head, but I'm also in the show. I say in the show. I had 2 lines. I was the maid. And Loretta's running around trying to find this wig because she's like, I guess I messed up. I don't know how I did, even though I like, this is literally my job. And I had this wig laid out. I know which one's hers. So she's flipping through all the other girls that have wigs. And she's like, I guess it's this one. Let me just put this one on her. Because there's a scene where another actress has to put on a also like red bob wig. And so they end up giving that one to the main actress and are like, here, just wear this until we find your other wig. And so she ends up going on with that wig. If I remember correctly, we were able to figure out like halfway through intermission or something like that, that like the main actress was just dumb and didn't put the wig on right, freaked out for no reason, got us in trouble, and literally got away with lying, essentially. And so we kind of just like left it as that. And Loretta goes home on her own personal Twitter account, makes a like basically anonymous tweet that is so vague. If you really wanted it to be about you, you could plug yourself in if you want. But she didn't say names. She didn't call out this main actress. She didn't call out nobody. She was just like fed up over it. And I'm pretty sure at this point we had already closed Millie. So we were like over it. So this obviously made that girl mad. And she is obviously an older senior. She's a favorite. She is you can probably imagine what she looks like. And so she ends up going and telling our director, like, hey, I feel like this girl is bullying me. Where she got bullying, I really, 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 really wish that I could have been in that room to hear what she was saying. Because if you think about the situation, you would see that she was at fault. She got us in trouble. And we were to blame, is how she made it seem. Even though it was her responsibility to put on the wig and just have Loretta put this on. Or if I remember, Loretta's putting the wig on her, she felt it was wrong and she kept moving it. So she kept moving it. She's putting it on wrong. She's doing everything incorrectly. And it's Loretta trying to run around and do everything right and get this fixed. Comes up with a decent solution on the fly, because what is she supposed to do if this main actress keeps telling you the wig that she's wearing, that is her wig, is wrong, even though it's just backwards? Yeah. And when a literal student just goes home to their private personal Twitter, says this thing that is so vague, and then goes off and tattletales essentially at her big age. Yeah. So what ends up happening is this is also in correlation of like so many other stuff that's going on that year. But we end up having to do like essentially a cyberbullying seminar. We kind of just have somebody come in and talk about like cyberbullying, and it's a little smaller. I'm pretty sure this happens twice. We've had to have these sort of seminars in our drama department because of the crazy stuff that these girls did. That girl ended up graduating that same year or a year later. I don't remember, really could not remember much about her, unfortunately. Because I did not keep up with her after she graduated, as most people do. She was a lot older than I was. I did not give two buttocks about her, so yeah, that was like a whole thing. The other time we had a cyberbullying seminar, it was because something that I was involved in. And a lot of people don't really know, but I did make a video about it when I was back when I first started YouTube, like right after I gotten out of high school. It is on my YouTube. It's still up. It's still accurate. Things I could talk about now, is that I can tell from this point now that I do know who the person was, and it wasn't the person I thought it was. And that essentially like shifted a lot of perspective for me as an adult, because now I've come to trust my intuition when it comes to people, because I was very naive in high school, and then after my best friend had left, Loretta, I had lost the other person who also saw that like crappy side of people with me. And so I was alone in my naiveness and my anxiety of just like, well, maybe this person's just she would never do that. She would. They would. Quickly and fast. Quickly and fast are the same words, but you know what I mean. But from that instance, I did talk about, I think I did talk about how we had another like seminar-ish that was like, think about what your words can mean on the internet. And it's like, girl, I know what they mean. Trust. I know what they mean. And that's why I said it. And I was so petty because they had talked about that, and how in some points in this both of the seminars was like, you have to think about how your posts can honestly offend someone if you post it. And so my petty self posted on Instagram a selfie of me and made the caption, hopefully this doesn't offend you. If that doesn't read for 17-year-old Vivian, I don't know what will, because I genuinely thought I ate with that. Thought I ate. I could be getting these bullying seminars like switched up. It was just so long ago, but I do feel like we had two different seminars. We had two talking tos. I think the first one was where we had a talking to. There was a lot of stuff that happened, and I really wish I could talk about all of it, but some of it was just so long ago that I really don't think I could fully give a rundown story of like what actually happened, because I had essentially like blocked that last 2 years out. Not that I didn't have a good time, it was just like a lot of other stuff happened, and it had to do with that stupid guy I was with. And so I really just try to forget that kind of stuff. But I think another thing that happened, I don't know if I even want to talk about this, but like maybe I can. There was like a big incident that also happened with our whole theater group again. Something happened, and I was caught in the middle of it because it was between two of my, I don't want to say friends because we're not friends anymore, but like two of my high school friends, and it was a girl and a boy, and they kind of were just like at each other's throats over what happened, but it was over something that typically happens in every high school, and we weren't the only kids who were doing this, so it was just kind of like, and the boy just really wanted to impress another girl who was very she ain't never gonna see this, who was very Christian and very godly like, and there's nothing wrong with that. She lives her life and she whatever. She never did anything wrong to us, but she definitely lived a different lifestyle than us, and he was trying to emulate that in order to impress her to get her back because they had broken up at this point, I think. And I think if he was able to make her friend, who was the girl, look bad, that he could be like, yeah, I saved her from this. I saved her from this path. Get back together with me. Unfortunately, it did not work. And those two ended up fighting, but they were like best friends, and I can't believe he would do this to me kind of vibe. They ended up working it out and whatever by the end of the year because senioritis makes you really just not want to not have friends at the end of senior year. So there's that. I wish I could talk more about it, but I don't know if I want to because of how because of what happened. And like I can't get in trouble for it, but like I feel like I still can. But like I wasn't actively participating in said thing. I was just kind of like chilling and going through a breakup. So I was like not in there, and I learned about everything secondhand. So I didn't know. I wasn't there. I didn't know about what was in the Sonic cup. And that is what I believe that with. It was something in a Sonic cup. A Route 44, one of them big old cups. Yeah. And something that was like this big. If you're an audio listener, I'm so sorry. Just imagine a tiny bottle. Why do I feel like I'm gonna go to jail for this? But like those were like two of the big things that really stuck with me after high school. High school theater, essentially. If you're currently in high school theater, I applaud you. I don't know how you like, I don't know if I'm Gen Z or millennial. I don't know. I was born 98. But I don't know how you guys are doing it with the age of TikTok and just how cruel the internet can be. And I cannot imagine because some of these TikToks that I see of these kids are so genuinely sweet and so cool. And I really wish I was able to do that when I was like, not social, I did social media, but I was like our historian. So I ran the Instagram and all that stuff. But I don't know how kids nowadays do it because kids are so unapologetically cruel nowadays. So I can't imagine like what happened to me in high school, but amplified that by like 600, and also with somebody probably taking video of what happened. I don't know how kids survive it nowadays. I really don't, because I thought the stuff that I was doing was crazy and that I was like so rebellious. I was not. I was a theater kid. I did do some rebellious stuff, but I wasn't like doing what these kids nowadays are doing. Like, it's so crazy. Or like when I talk about my high school experience with my boyfriend, and he's telling me about all this like crazy stuff he used to do in high school, and I was like, we grew up different. And I think it's because he grew up in a white family and I grew up in a Mexican family, who were just love my family, peace and love, who weren't strict, but like you knew you didn't have the option. You know what I mean? Like if you had to ask to go to a birthday party, you had to like wait 2 weeks and pick when your mom was like in a really good mood to ask, and like keep reminding her every time she was in a good mood and be like, hey mom, don't forget I have a birthday party in a week and I need to go get a birthday present and stuff like that, and like really just like, you know, picking and choosing. But high school theater was a world-round experience for me. I think if I can get into it really fast, I will for like 2 minutes. I'm going to talk about this. High school theater. I'm just going to be right out with it. Ruined my self-esteem, my self-worth, and my self-confidence within myself because of how unintentionally cruel a lot of the stuff that happened in high school theater was presented to me. I dealt with bullying. I dealt with so much unnecessary, just foul things that happened to me. I had titles stripped from me. I had not roles taken from me, but I was just like never considered for them because of my stuff, I guess you could say. When you're bigger, you're not really seen as a love interest. You're never seen as a whatever. Um, and so you're kind of just stuck playing a maid, which I played, a caretaker, which I played, or an old woman, which I played, or a man, which I've played. So a lot of the times you never really get out of that headspace of not feeling worthy, and that continued into college until I met my friends who were like, no, you can be more when you're here. I unfortunately never got the chance to ever play a love interest or play somebody who wasn't just a man, I guess. um but now I realize I should have let myself try harder and be better about it. um my friends obviously got those chances, and that was just so exhilarating to see, is girls who look just like me and girls who act like me and girls who, or women who look like me and women who have the same aspirations as me, get all the things that they wanted. And at first it really sucked, and I did cry about it, and I lashed out, and I was a child about it, and I can't really dog on myself for being upset about it, because I thought coming to university would shift everything, and it obviously didn't, because I didn't work on myself. But as soon as I did, and I surrounded myself with people who had just the same hard work ethic as myself and the same ambition and passion, I saw this confidence come back in myself. And I know I'm good. I know I'm a good actress. I know I'm a great sound designer. I know I'm a great director, and I know I'm a great artist now, but it took a lot longer than it should have for me to get back to where I was beforehand. And I think how high school theater was for me definitely set me back a few years and set me back a lot. Aside from that, I did make such great friends. I made a lot of great memories. I was in a lot of like really fun shows that I can connect with more people, because some of them were a bit more obscure and some of them were a bit different. So like I did have a great experience about 30% of the time, but the rest of it was no, I didn't have fun, unfortunately. And I think with that being said, if you're in high school right now and you're struggling with everything that's going on, sorry, my cat's trying to jump on the desk. I think if you're in high school right now and you're struggling with your self-confidence and things like that, keep holding on. Just keep holding on, because you will find a college program that is fit for you, that will embrace you, that will make you feel true to yourself, or you will find the friends that are true to you and make you feel like the most amazing, most talented person on the earth. And sorry, my cat is just choosing the wrong time to play with the blinds. But at the end of the day, remember to love yourself, and that everything that happens to you will come back to you 10 times better, and you will find that the perfect place for you, the perfect program, the perfect everything, as long as you keep pushing for it, as long as you don't stop. Do I have some horror stories from my own college program? Yes. Do I think my university had the most amazing program when I was there? No. Would I recommend it? Now, probably not, after I've been out of it for so long, but I do think that if you are there, to continue to keep pushing, keep making the right decisions, continue to keep the passion of theater within you, because theater will always be here in whatever shape it turns into because of the way theater is progressing and theater is changing and how AI is becoming a thing now. But I think theater as a whole will always be here. It's been here for so long. It's something that's deeply rooted in our culture that I feel like it will stand the test of time. Do we know how? Do we know for how long? No. But I do think at the end of the day, if you love theater, keep doing it. Please keep doing it. I love theater. I hope to get back into it. I haven't done theater since I graduated, which is just so terrifying to me because I've always thought I was going to be doing theater for my entire life. And I'm hoping that one day I can get back into it and really just dive into this pool of just artistry that I've always admired and like just can't get enough of. I love theater. I love musical theater. And every time I see it, I'm like, wow, I want to do that. And I did do that, and I got my degree in it, and I'm just so thankful that I was able to do all of it and meet the people that I met and make the connections that I made. And even though high school theater sucked so bad, and it genuinely did not make me want to go to school for theater, I think I found the perfect place. I met like the most amazing people through my college program, so I wouldn't trade it for the world. But if this video gets like 2 likes, I might talk about the drama that happened in my college career because we were adults then. I can't, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. But yeah, I think with that, I'm going to end this episode. Be sure to take care of yourself, and I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Dexter!